that was real natural.
Leaving that in.
Welcome, yeah, welcome to a very, very special episode of Anime Club. Of course, with me this week we have my lovely co-host Kris, ever present, ever knowledgeable. But we also have a very, very special guest, very dear to my heart, my young sibling, Xoph. Welcome, Xoph, to Anime Club.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, so welcome. So if you don't already know, Anime Club, we host in a dirty old art classroom. So welcome to the dirty old art classroom. That is Anime Club. And each week we look at an anime, and what we normally do is watch 3 episodes of an anime and then talk a bit about it. But because you're a very special guest and it's your first time on, we have a standard question that we start all of our guest episodes with, which is, what was your gateway anime?
Well, I think you already know this because you were there, but it was Dragon Ball Z. I started at the Frieza saga, maybe just before, and went right on through the last one I can really remember being fully committed to was the final Android saga, but yeah. Oh no, where did Cell come? Anyway, there's a lot of sagas.
The Perfect Cell saga is the yeah.
Although we did. You go.
I was gonna say we did also watch the original Dragon Ball because it was on roughly the same time. Because there's that episode where Yamcha watches Bulma in the bath, and there's the does the not balls, definitely not Dragon Balls, which was a phrase that entered our everyday language for a bit. I don't know if you remember that.
Weirdly, I don't, but that's something I would love, so I don't know why I don't remember it.
Well,
but yeah,
it was a thing. Yeah. Excellent. And Kris, what anime are we talking? Oh no, actually, sorry, I'm diving into animes before I've done the most important bit. Snacks. What snacks have you brought to Anime Club?
Me?
Oh. Shall I go first?
Yeah, so if you go first, because Kris is mid-eating his snack.
I've got loads of snacks.
So my sneaky snack today, I was very excited to bring a snack. Is something that really caught my eye in the shop, and I was gonna bring tiramisu, which isn't really a snack, and then I saw this on the shelf and I thought, well, I just have to try it. It's pink chocolate digestives.
Ooh. Is that with the pink white chocolate?
Yeah, strawberries and cream. Oh, raspberry and cream.
Ooh. Maybe okay, I'm excited for you to try those too. Kris, what snacks have you got?
Well, it have been 2 days before payday. I've just raided Finley's snack cupboard. So I've got some little fish crackers.
It's like taking candy from children.
It is. Yeah. Except I had to wait till he was asleep.
Because Finley could have Kris in a head-to-head combat situation.
Yeah.
Any day of the week.
He's brutal.
He's brutal. He really goes for the jugular. Because I knew that Xoph was coming on, I had to go and get a classic pickled onion Monster Munch.
Nice.
And I often, if I know Xoph is coming down and might visit my flat, I often have a packet of these, and just to because they're a favourite. And then I've also bought some Aero bubbles because we also love a bit of mint Aero.
Oh yeah, I've got chocolate popcorn as well.
Snacks.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh.
Have you tried the coconut Aero?
No.
I didn't know it existed. And then, sometimes you go into a corner shop and there's so many different varieties of regulars. Yeah. You just have to kind of buy one of each. Yeah. Coconut Aero. Recommend. 12 out of 10 would recommend.
Okay. Nice. I'll keep an eye out for a coconut Aero. Cool. So, what episode? Well, I mean, we know what anime we're doing because it's been on the screen the whole time. But Kris, tell us a bit about the anime that we're doing this week.
Oh, so it's called DandaDan. It's about two school kids. One's called Ken, or what's he called again? Okaroon.
Okaroon.
Yeah, and Momo. One believes in aliens, one believes in ghosts. Hijinks happens. He gets his nuts stolen, gets his pee stolen. It's a
Gets
bit
his
mad, isn't it?
knob gobbled.
Yeah.
Very mad.
It doesn't show it
Yeah.
explicitly, but there's a lot of implied knob goblin.
There is, and it's for that reason that we entered into this slightly wary. So we have a rule in Anime Club, which is no like overly sexualized school children scenes, but
Yeah.
which literally is it like the first episode that there's like an old woman ghost who's like, suck on my titties and I'll nubble your gob. Nubble your gob? Sure. And so I was a bit like, yeah. So I was a bit like, oh, this is borderline. What were your guys feeling around some of, because it is like explicitly, these kids are put into some very uncomfortable, problematic situations. What's your whole take on it? How was that? Yeah.
Do you want to go first, so?
Sure. One of the things I actually really like about the show is that it's so horny. They are teenagers, it's coming of age, and like it's horny as fuck. The whole thing is so horny. I can swear, right?
Yeah.
And it's really interesting use of sexuality that is sort of running alongside this theme of sexual violence. It's very overt in some places. There's like you said, Turbo Granny stealing young boys' dicks left, right, and center. And then later on his balls go missing. And then there's the ridiculously comically sexual grandma, which I'm sure we'll speak about later, who's always in a state of undress. And then later on, she's like Momo is literally riding Okaroon, quite literally, like through the town and everywhere. And it's something that she does again and again. He's like, get on. And and there's a bit at the end of the first episode where Momo is stripped to her underwear. And it was a scene that was really verging on hentai. I was watching it with my pal Nick, and we were looking at each other, think, God, maybe this isn't the one. Maybe we're not going to carry on watching it. And this is, yeah, like you said, that it's something that you're wary of, and sometimes in anime to watch, to find the precious gemstones in and amongst the rest of the dirt. Sometimes you do just have to put up with a bit of eroticization of schoolgirls and just be aware that you're watching it with a critical eye. But then it becomes clear that like the aliens who have abducted Momo and are rapists, that they're appropriately suited and booted like banker bros, and are actually representing like the patriarchy and gendered and sexual violence. So how I read it was more of an inversion of the sexy schoolgirl trope. And so there's this like political subversion which uses its own outdated visual vocabulary to critique itself, which I actually think is quite chic. And this is referenced again and again throughout.
Subversion, very on trend. Very chic.
Yeah, so we later see like a giant crab alien demon monster, which instead of barnacles has the heads of murdered women on its outer shell. And then they are naked again later in the show, but this time it's not like you're viewing it through a male gaze. It's like they become naked because they were in this battle where somehow they needed something happened and they were naked, and then they suddenly like come back into this dimension and they're in the middle of school, and it's actually like this really cringeworthy, awkward like nightmare where you realize you're not wearing any clothes and they're sort of introduced to their bodies as these objects of shame, which is like, yeah, very teenage, very awkward, and kind of like a little bit more endearing, and there's no sort of like state of arousal in sight. It's just about like navigating bodies. Yeah, and then again, sorry, you go.
No, I was just gonna say, because you said something there that I'd like, so because I was like on the fence about like, I'm not sure if I'm not sure. I also don't know if I can carry on watching this. And Chris, you had given me a heads up about that scene at the end of episode 1 with the alien banker bros. Because you were like, I don't know, like it feels like it's a really good anime, but like there is this element of it that just makes you enter in a bit wary. And I think there's two things about it that kind of made me stick with it, and I was glad I did, because the first thing is that you're right, it's a different way of handling that subject matter, and it feels like it is highlighting something in other animes like this, in that you feel wary and uncomfortable rather than it just being like, oh, sexy schoolgirls. You know, I'm like, there's like a kind of like a higher narrative to it and like a higher purpose, but also the sexual violence happens to both genders, like depicted in the anime. So it's happening to Momo and it's happening to, I forget what they call him, Okarun?
Yeah, you can call him Ken if you want. He's not listening.
Yeah, and it happens to Ken as well. So like you're having that kind of like, yeah, you're having that duality. And there are elements that feel almost like I read Ken's character as being almost asexual sometimes in the interactions, like the driving force is more emotional than physical, and it's actually not hot until like episode 7 or 8, like really far into the anime, where he's like, oh my god, Momo's actually attractive physically. Like there is like, it happens really late, it isn't happening really early on. It isn't part of the driving narrative, like the romance isn't the driving narrative. So I think that's why it is interesting. Yeah.
Maybe he's demisexual.
Maybe. Yeah,
just
Chris.
like, okay.
No, you can carry on.
Yeah.
I was just going to give Chris a chance to get a word in edgewise, but you carry on.
That's the man on mic.
What do you think about sexy schoolgirls, man?
Well, because when I first watched it, it was like, yeah, there's this she's in a knickers and bra, and there's also Ken who's naked, gets his balls and dick stolen at some point. But I don't know, besides their moments, what kept me watching was they always regain that control, where that's why she only stop horror, because she's experiencing high emotion, and she always comes out of it, and it kind of sets a precedent that the Serpos, the aliens, are the bad guys. I know we've said before it's a bit of a shit ploy to say using sexual violence to justify them being the evil guy, but I don't know, I don't mind it in this one.
Yeah.
Because it's just like when they first introduced them, they're like, oh yeah, we cannot reproduce, we're all clones, so we need to steal your uterus or something like that.
Well, in the dub, they call it the banana. We need to steal your banana.
Yeah.
Which is weird. That adds a level of weirdness to it as well. I think that helps. Like.
Yeah. Yeah, with it being so surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wonky.
Wonky's a good way of describing it, yeah.
I see. I didn't watch the dub on this one. I watched the sub.
Oh, you watched sub.
So
what did you watch though?
I always watch dub if I can.
See, the only reason why I did because Turbo Granny's voiced by Luffy.
And the old woman from JoJo.
Is it? Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you know that creepy old grandma in JoJo who's like,
Yeah.
that.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Xoph. And you had another point you wanted to add around the kind of gender politics of it.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably add several, but I'll only add one more in this instance.
You
which
can add
is
one or two.
It's all right.
actually, Chris, you mentioned it earlier as well. Is in the last episode, without there being like too many spoilers, it brings in that idea of like the threat of sexual violence, in a very real, relatable way. Anybody that's like spent any time as a woman or an AFAB can probably relate to really, really easily, where it's just like, it's creepy, it's men, it's mob mentality, it's patriarchy, it's misogyny, but then it's also aliens and demons.
Wow. Fair. Good points. So how would you, if you were going to describe this anime to someone who'd never seen an anime before, how are you pitching it to someone to persuade them to watch it?
Oh,
I
I
was
can
going
go
to
on
ask
this one.
Chris first. Yeah, go on, you go.
So, do you know the History Channel where you got all the mental documentaries you watch when you're stoned, like ancient aliens and all that sort of stuff?
No, I've never been stoned before, Chris.
Never thrown a stone. Yeah. Imagine if all of them were real. Them documentaries. That's what this anime is like.
That's a good description. Yeah. What about you, Xoph? How are you pitching it to?
I'd say essentially it's an imaginative, energetic, horny, batshit crazy rom-com with demons and robots and aliens and a love triangle.
2 love triangles.
I think there's 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you've got what's the pink-haired girl's name? Who has the crazy mother spirit attached to Ira.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Ira, who likes Ken who likes Momo who kind of likes Ken but also doesn't like Ken and is just trying to like grapple with being the main character, and then the other guy who comes in as well, who is like
Jin.
Jin. I loved Jin when he entered, and he's like,
everyone loves Jin.
I love an anime character with like bendy body animation, and I also loved like often would draw focus from what was happening by like having some sort of weird interaction in the background. It just made me laugh. What would you like? How did you find like the animation style, and like the production value of it all? Go on,
I really liked the anime style. It was super colorful. There was like loads of traditional anime frames, and then like mixed up with these like collage and 3D scan like hybrid cuts. And then there are some like really cool sequences where the background is all completely black. And it's just this is really sort of like graphy, like strobe sort of like characters running through. But like and it switches quite rapidly, but it's not chaotic at all. It's really seamless. Like when a song drops, and it sort of mirrors quite nicely the way the show mashes up lots of like ghosts and aliens and identities and concepts in that way as well.
Yeah. What about you, Chris? What did you think?
Bold. Like, do you know when you're having a when you're seeing a fight scene, you could probably take a still of it and it would look amazing. There's no like, doesn't look like there's any shortcuts or any blurry images. Everything's so clear. It's got bold colours as well. Even in the art in the background we've got here, everything's just spot on. The style as well. It's kind of like, I don't think it's like a traditional style. I mean, I know these are school kids and that, but it's not like the Sailor Moon style school kids.
No.
You know what I mean? They're wearing like
Although
hoodies,
there is
normal
nothing
clothes.
wrong with fighting evil by moonlight, just to in defense of
So
saying
we're all on the same page.
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying about clothes.
No, sorry, I'm just saying it looks great. It's like its own style. But yeah, that's what I thought.
There was, when I was watching, I also loved it, and I loved how you had some very like traditional framing, but then you had some really like surreal, warped framing where you get like these kind of like really like I'm trying to recreate it, but like, do you know, but like kind of like very
fisheye lens.
Very fisheye lens, kind of weird, almost like early 90s documentary style framing. But they're also like the like the styling of the characters is really fun as well. So they have like really clear, distinct characteristics that make them very easy to recognize, even if they're just in silhouette. And there was one line, I think it was in like the first episode when I was watching it, I was like, oh, I see why, because one of the characters is like, it's fashion. In terms of like talking about how they were dressing, and I was like, oh, I can see why Xoph likes this.
It's called fashion. Look at that.
Yeah, it was that kind of energy, and I was like, oh, this is funny. So I think as well as being like very intense with its subject matter, it's also very goofy at times as well. And it does have those like very quotable lines, like yeah, I mean, Turbo Granny is just like so quotable. I love Turbo Granny.
It is super goofy, and a lot. Sometimes when anime is goofy, it's a bit annoying and it's kind of like filler. But it's a really nice balance of depth and profundity and like comic relief. And it doesn't ever get taxing in either direction.
Yeah, I agree. Well, did you have like favorite characters? Was there any characters that really spoke to you and that you attached to early on?
I'd like to give an honorable. Oh, sorry, you go.
No, you go. Sorry.
I'd like to give an honorable mention to the crab businessman boxer.
Yeah. With the body, with the face on his body.
Just trying to provide for his kids.
The shrimpy, punchy, boxery one that just like is kind of on speed. Yeah, because it's just such an incongruous mashup of concepts. And you're just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Kris?
Oh, it's gotta be right. It's probably Acrobatic Silky. You know, the one
yeah,
who was the working mom, just because of her arc and story. But then I kind of like Taro as well, because he just wanted to get his leg over, didn't he?
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Remind me, is Taro the
mannequin that runs?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The anatomy mannequin, yeah. He's just so desperate.
I know.
Like,
I know.
Nothing can get in his way. Dangerously desperate.
Yeah. Dangerously desperate describes a very specific personality. Very well. And that mannequin belongs in that category for sure. I really love Turbo Granny. I like what I realized. I also realized for me in anime, there's a very specific like evil, powerful soul trapped in cute object. Like Kon from Bleach, who's this like crazy super soldier artificial soul created for fighting hollows, trapped in a lion plushie. One of my favorite anime characters of all time. Turbo Granny at one point gets shoved into a lucky cat doll, and I just from that moment on, I was like, I don't care how evil Turbo Granny is, can do no wrong in my book. Because there's something very funny about a very sarcastic, cruel but incredibly cute and ineffective as a result of being trapped in a doll character.
And
I love
from
that.
that moment on, she's going to be part of the gang.
Yeah.
Whether she likes it or not.
Of course she's moving in. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
everyone just
agree.
seems to move in.
Yeah.
Everybody just lives there now. Like,
Yeah.
where are their parents?
Yeah.
Also, how many bedrooms does this house have? Or are they all just like bunking together every night? Like, what's the dynamic?
How much money does that like local telly program gig pay for the grandma? Because she is just a psychic. Like,
yeah. She's basically Mystic Meg, isn't she?
yeah.
And I also love her introduction where she gets everything wrong. And then you see her like in her like drinking, watching telly in her like pants in that kind of pose. And she's like, I got it right. Because the person had lied on telly but then had later found out. I loved that. Yeah. Aliens versus ghosts. If you had to meet one or the other, what would be your preferred encounter?
What, like from the show?
From the show or just in general?
I was going to say it's a choice between rapey aliens or what? Genital stealing ghosts.
Having your genital stealing ghosts. Yeah, they don't all steal genitals.
You could be a horny mannequin running man.
You could meet the horny mannequin.
He was fine. Actually, he's neither an alien nor a ghost, so.
Yeah.
He's just got a ball stuck up him, didn't he?
Yeah. He's
accidentally
cursed object. Yeah. What are you choosing, Kris?
Ghost.
It's
basically
a choice. Yeah, it's basically a choice between no genitals or too many genitals. Essentially. Yeah, I'd choose ghost, I feel.
I feel like ghosts are scarier than aliens.
Do you reckon?
Wait,
I think the aliens in this. I was talking specifically about this, but even generally, I would say aliens are way scarier every time. Because in order to get to this planet, they would have to be so much more like technologically advanced than us. We wouldn't it would just be like it'd be like us looking at a bunch of pigs and being like, they're intelligent creatures, but they don't live in their own houses. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
It's how you view humans.
Kris, look on Kris's face makes me think he doesn't know what I mean.
I'm not sure what you meant either. I was like really trying to reach for it. Like,
no, but it's like
in their own houses.
Well, no, it's just like in terms of different technologies. It's like the pig is an incapable, intelligent creature that has like emotional responses to situations and forms bonds and social groups. But it doesn't use technology, as in like it can't build a house unless it's like the Three Little Pigs against the Big Bad Wolf, in which case it builds bad houses. So, and then like us as humans are there like with our tractors and stuff going, well, look at all that, like they're smart, but we've got a tractor. I feel like that's what it's like if an alien ever comes to this planet, that would be the dynamic, and that's scary being the pig.
Yeah,
I
get you know.
Cool.
Thanks. I'll move on.
No, I think you should explain it more.
No, I think we're done. So we all watched past 3 episodes, right? We all watched the whole thing.
Absolutely. I can't wait for the 5th of July for season 2 to come out.
Well, that was going to be my question.
As well. There's a film as well, which is the last episode of season 1, which has just recently been released like a couple of weeks ago. It's Evil Eye.
Where can we watch it, Kris?
Dunno, pictures probably.
Out and send you a link, so. But it sounds like the perfect thing to watch when you come back from Glastonbury and you need just like a bit of TV time to unwind. You can watch the film.
Perfect.
So yeah, are you excited for season 2? Will you be watching season 2?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Will you?
Definitely.
I think Chris has already said he wants to do an episode of Anime Club on season 2. So whether or not I want to, I'm going to have to watch at least 3 episodes.
But do you not want to?
No, I probably do want to watch it, but I'm just like, like, I also think there's like, Eddie, hush your face. I also think, so I didn't find this an easy watch necessarily. Like I did have to like power through some bits because of some of the subject matter. So I do want to watch it, and it probably wouldn't be like a go-to anime for me in certain moods, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. And like I was reading some of your comments on a previous video, because you asked in the video why people watch anime, like what do they want from their anime. And the most common thread was escapism. In a word. And DandaDeep isn't that. It's not a comfortable, easy watch. It's got some grit to it.
Yeah.
Trauma recovery, identity exploration, mental health, consent, vulnerability.
Yeah. And sometimes I just want to watch someone get transformed into a vending machine. Do you know what I mean? The one thing I would say that is easy and amazing about this is the music. Just before we like wrap up, I just wanted to give like a shout out to the music and the soundscapes actually, because throughout the scoring throughout the anime really like creates just a high energy, fun vibe. I enjoyed it. And like all week I've been going dan 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 dan.
I'm glad you said that, and I wasn't going to let you wrap up until we had spoken about the opening sequence, which I'm absolutely obsessed with. I always
if anyone wonders what our childhood is like, this.
Yeah, I never skip it. I'm usually a skipper with the intros, but I watch it every time. It's got such amazing energy. I think it's the best TV opening credits ever. The song is by someone called Creepy Nuts, a duo called Creepy Nuts. Look them up. And if it came on the dance floor, I would absolutely lose my shit.
Have you seen the video as well?
Visually, sorry.
Have you seen the video as well?
Yeah, the music video.
Yeah.
What's the music video like?
It's trippy.
It's also animation, but not cartoon. It's sort of like they've taken live action and made it like sort of like bubbly figures. And there's like loads of them spinning to infinity. Sort of like, it's hard to describe, isn't it?
Yeah, going into people's mouths a lot and that.
So this is one of the reasons why I say like this wasn't a go-to anime for me, but one of the reasons I did watch all of it rather than just rewatching 3 episodes was the way that you and Chris were talking about it in the chat, and you were talking about some of these really surreal, trippy moments, and I was like, what happened? And I realized in that moment that my fear of missing out and my need to like be part of the group was stronger than how do I like what value I place on my time. I was like crocodile aliens or something. They were like the alligator men or something you said, and I was like, what? Silky mama? What? going on? So that kind of also just when you describe it, it is like wild. And to be fair, it delivered.
So is that how we get you to watch a series? Being like, oh, Berserk, there's a mad thing with an egg at the end.
If it was like a whole group of people going, did you see that bit? I'd be like, I have to go watch it. I just want to just want to fit in.
Oh,
That's the whole.
We love
That's the whole
you.
thing.
We love you because you stand out.
In all the right ways. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
do you have another
Is there a
question?
right or wrong way to stand out?
Yeah. Great. So, are there any last thoughts at all? Any kind of things that you thought about that you wanted to get off your chest before we wrap up?
Kris?
Yeah, I would say normally I wouldn't recommend things where themes were like threat of sexual assault and stuff like that. But I'd say it's a good series. You just need to power through it. It's not for everyone. I don't think a lot of people can get past the first episode. Do you know the ending of the first one or episode 11 even? That might put them off. Or which one with the gators and the hot springs?
That's the final episode.
Is it? Oh yeah, the final
Yeah.
episode. So they might not want to watch season 2, but I think it is worth the slog if you can get through that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it comes.
totally agree.
Comes with a trigger warning. When you're recommending it to friends, for sure.
Yeah, I totally
Yeah.
agree. And I think it's actually because of those themes. Like you were saying, it's bold in its anime style. It's also bold in the way that it tackles these things. And it's not escapism, and they they redefine gender roles, and they grow as equals, and they like they it's folded into the character of the show, like what all of those themes, and it's part of the reason why it's so good. It's not just air, it's not just like some nice drawings,
and it definitely isn't like what you think of when you think of sexualized schoolgirls in anime. It definitely isn't that.
Yeah,
but it does recognize that is a thing for sure.
yeah.
I think that's part of it, isn't it? Yeah.
See, I don't watch stuff like this for escapism. I just like the plot. I just like watching it. Mainly because I like watching stuff like Berserk, and if I used that and imagined that was me POV going in there, I would top myself. So it's not.
Yeah. That actually you do like a bit of emotional damage and like grappling with like big issues in your anime. I've come to realize that you're not afraid of those things, whereas sometimes I'm just like a bit squishy. I just want like people pissing out of their nipples and
vending machines.
and cute sentient vending machines. I think that's okay. There's space in anime for everyone, and that's gorgeous. So,
speaking of space for anime and everyone, space in anime for everyone, and things that I need to get off my chest. I do love to shoehorn trans allegories where sometimes they have no right to be, like Duncan Idaho in June Messiah, for example. Have we spoken about that? We'll talk about it later.
No, but I think you're going too far, and we can talk about that later.
Yeah. It's not for now.
Yeah.
There is something to be like I do just want to give a nod to it, because there's this world where there are like it's full of diversity, it's full of like gender queer expression in like all of these aliens and these ghouls, which is part of the reason that sci-fi is my favorite genre. And there's something in the missing genitals, the name change, the body possession plot line, that really resonates with trans narratives and experience of identity and autonomy.
There is physical transformation as well.
Yeah, exactly.
In like the Super Saiyan moments.
Yeah, and disembodiment. So yeah, I think there is something in there that is if it's not on purpose, it's definitely extremely like
It
resonant.
resonates. Yeah.
And so it might not be explicit coding, but I do really appreciate the queerness of the fluidity and the shifting identities in it.
I can see that. And I don't think it's too much of a stretch. I do think Duncan, Idaho is a stretch, and so but
comment if you know, you know. Comment. What do you think?
If anyone can change my mind, I'm sure it's you. Fabulous. So I think we're going to end there. Thank you so much, Xoph, for giving us precious time before you head off to Festival Delight tomorrow, early tomorrow morning.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Kris, I'm so sorry I kept interrupting you. And
don't worry, it's been nice listening to you.
If you ever have me on again, I won't let you speak again.
If you ever get Xoph on, you just know that you won't have to do a lot, and that's our favourite type of podcast.
Yeah.
Having a guest who can come with opinion is lovely and welcome, and it's been brilliant having you. I always like spending time with you anyway, so one of my favourite people in the world.
Appreciate the invite.
If you at home have enjoyed listening to us, please make sure that you give us a subscribe, give us a comment. Let us know what.
Hey.
Xoph showing off their special effects. Let us know what kind of animes that have you watched DandaDeep? What did you think of it? What other animes do you that grapple with kind of big topics that you really enjoy and I think are a good type of challenge to a genre? And also don't forget to check out the other podcasts that we have. So we've got coming up next week we have Top Grumps. Do you guys know what you'll be doing yet? Probably not, because we're filming this a couple of weeks ahead.
Yeah.
But we do know that we're going to have Wonk are going to have Laura Johnson for a pre-Nerd Fest chat. That'll be tomorrow, the 12th of July. And the Rumble casting Countdown to Doomsday will be coming up, not this week, but probably the next week as well. So make sure that you do subscribe if you want to catch some good wrestling chats and, of course, an adventure through the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Thanks very much. We'll catch you soon. We love you so much. Have a good time, and we'll see you again.
Dying to hear your thoughts.